Today's sermon, just like them, coming from the scripture of 1 Samuel 8, verses 4 to 22, and supporting scriptures, Romans chapter 12, verse 2, Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, and John chapter 13, verse 15. Now, family, I'll only be reading 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 4 and 5, and I'll let you read the rest of the scriptures on your time. Verses 4 and 5 says, So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have. Family, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked around and thought, why don't I have what they have? Why does their life look easier? Why does everybody else seem to be winning except me? We live in a world that constantly pressures us to fit in. Social media tells us what success looks like. Culture tells us how to dress, how to talk, how to think, how to move. And if we're not careful, we start wanting what everybody else has, even when God has already given us something better. Now, that's not new. Israel did the same thing. Today, I got 5 points I'd like to talk about. My first point is wanting to be like everybody else. In 1 Samuel 8, the Israelites came to the prophet Samuel and say, Appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have. Pause right there. God had already been their king. He brought them out of Egypt. He fed them with manna. He fought their battles. He covered their presence. But none of that was enough because they was looking sideways instead of upwards. They said, We want to be like them. Church, comparison will make you forget your calling. When you start comparing, you will trade purpose for popularity. My second point is God warns them, but they insist. Samuel goes to God, and God says, They're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me. Then God gives them a warning. A king will take your sons. He'll take your daughters. He'll take your land. He'll tax your resources. He'll work you until you're tired. In other words, what you're asking for is going to cost you. But the people said, No, we want a king anyways. That's dangerous when you want something so bad that you stop listening to God. Sometimes the greatest judgment isn't God saying no, it's God saying, All right, have it your way. My third point is the cost of being like others. And how did that go? Saul starts strong but ends insecure. David sins and brings division. Solomon gains wisdom but loses his heart. The kingdom splits. The people suffer. The nation falls into cycles of trials and tribulations, all because they wanted to look like everybody else instead of trusting God to make them who they were meant to be. Hear me clearly. Trying to look like others will always cost you more than it promises. My fourth point, we are still doing this today. We may not be asking for kings, but we ask for their lifestyle, their relationships, their platforms, their success, their image, and we're willing to compromise our peace, our values, and sometimes our faith to get it. In Romans 12, chapter 2, it says, Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind. God never called us to blend in. He called us to stand out. My fifth and final point is the only comparison that matters is Christ. The goal is not to be like your favorite influencer, not like your coworker, not like your cousin, not even your pastor. The goal is Christ. Paul said in Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Jesus never tried to fit in. He walked different. He loved different. He served different. He sacrificed different. And because of that, he didn't change culture. He saved souls. In closing, choose Christ over comparison. Family, hear this. When you chase people, you inherit pressure. When you chase Christ, you inherit purpose. Stop asking, why don't I have what they have? Start asking, Lord, who are you shaping me to be? Because being like others may make you accepted, but being like Christ will make you effective. So today, let's make a decision. I don't want to look like them. I want to look like him. I love y'all. And to the next sermon, blessings, fam.